Daniel, about 12 to 15 games into the NHL season, more for some teams, less for others, maybe due to COVID. Who has stood out to you the most? We're going to put up an NHL futures graphic. Looks like the Avs, the Golden Knights, the Lightning, all around that 8-1 range. Boston at 9-1, Toronto at 10-1, Montreal at 12-1. So again, who is maybe out of that group? Who has maybe been the most surprising to you with the way they've started the season?
Let me see, because I haven't really been all that shocked. I would say, the one team, not in that group necessarily, but the one team that's, off to an amazing start, and you wouldn't expect it after the changes they made, is the Florida Panthers. Florida Panthers don't typically get much attendance in the crowd, and I think that sort of leveled the playing field now with no fans. But they've actually, because Florida, they allow. So I think they have more fans now post-COVID than they did before. People are bored. But Florida's one that's really obviously started off really, really hot. Let's see, who else has surprised me from that group? Well, Vegas has been good, right? Very good, The only question there is, they played a bunch of games against Arizona and Anaheim, LA, like San Jose, like some really bad teams in that division. They did really do well against Colorado yesterday. Nate McKinnon just back for a game, so not sure there. But the team that also I think, I wouldn't say it surprised me. They lost last night to the Ottawa Senators after being up 5-1, which is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay, so the Toronto Maple Leafs are in the funnest division by far. They are in the Canadian division, and it's a very weak division. You have Ottawa, which is very, very bad. So them losing to Ottawa was really just, not good. But really, outside of like Montreal, who's been decent, you got Winnipeg, who's Edmonton, who's got a lot of problems. Like Toronto should be, especially without having to face Boston or Tampa Bay this year, in the playoffs, they should be a Final Four team, right? So then it's a question of whether they can put it together, because they're going to come out of that division. If they get Wayne Simmons back, who's been the big, tough guy who's helped them a lot, for the playoffs, that could go a long way. Boston surprises me every year, just the fact that they continue to stay relevant, despite seemingly losing pieces each and every year. They lost Torrey Krug on the defensive end. They didn't really get any replacements for him. They have that top line. They have solid goaltending. The team that I mentioned before, I think on your show or whatever, was that sort of sticks out as I wouldn't say surprise team, but a good long shot. I don't think you had them at like 20-1, which is the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah.
They are in by far the toughest division. I mean, you're looking at Boston, Philly, Islanders, Washington, Pittsburgh, which is all, should be playoff teams. Then you got the Rangers, which are improving. New Jersey's gotten better. And Buffalo, which is the doormat, but they're not. They're not that bad. So that's a really tough division for them to get out of. If Philly does get out of that somehow, they're going to need really good goaltending from Carter Hart, who's been shaky so far this year, but if he can pull it together, I could see Philadelphia coming out there. Vegas they're going to be up against St. Louis or Colorado, and that, that's going to be their path. And then, actually, I think the Central Division's weird. Tampa's the class of the division, of course. And then there's a whole bunch of decent teams. So I could see Tampa, Vegas. I mean, this is like the chalk, right? Tampa, Vegas, Philly maybe, and Toronto in the Final Four, something like that.
Hey everyone, this is No Gamble, No Future, all the sports betting, and Brent, really just all the pure degeneracy.
You gotta risk it to get the biscuit. Like and subscribe.
Please.